And I have to give you just a little bit of story in preparation for the event today. So Lauren, who frantically was gathering presentations from everyone, put out a call to please send in your PowerPoints. And of course, Bob Bittner replies and says, I'm not going to have any PowerPoint. Now, you can imagine what a jolt that put into our marketing organization. We're going to have a presenter with no PowerPoint. We actually don't know exactly what Bob's going to do, so I'm as anxious to see your presentation as perhaps everyone else is here. So please welcome Bob Bittner. Absolutely.
While he's giving me the mic, let me just give you a little background. I'm going to give you a case study. I was the Director of Energy and Physical Plant for the Wake County Public Schools in the Raleigh area. And is that high enough? Does that work? Okay. I don't do very well behind the podium. We had 22, I managed 22 million square feet of facilities, an energy budget of what should have been 35 million, but it really was only 28 million that I had to pay the bills with. But I wanted to just share with you some of my story about doing that. And so I had, in light of having to carry the stuff with me, I asked Tim to buy me some ceramic tiles that I could use. Any of you remember when Ross Perot was running for office? You know, he used all these little charts, you know, he used to get over there. So we're going to do that today. This is kind of my Ross Perot presentation. But this is something that's key to all of energy management when you're talking about facilities. Can anybody tell me what this is?
Square foot.
It's a square foot. That's good. I'm glad. Somebody, I had asked several people about that in the last few days, and they said, well, it's a tile. I don't know what this is, a tile. Yeah, okay, it's a tile. Well, let me give you a little reference. And one of the ways that we did this, and we had a very sophisticated building automation system. We had a great product. We used the School Dude product for tracking energy. And matter of fact, I just got back from Las Vegas. I flew in yesterday, and the Wake County Public Schools won an award from NFM&T for great energy data and being able to use that energy data to create savings. And so I was really proud of that, even though I didn't make it in time for the award ceremony. My old boss was there, and I asked him before I got there, I said, are you sure you don't want me to show up early, so if they ask you any technical questions, you'd have somebody there to answer them? And, but I guess he did okay. But I was proud of that in doing that. But I want to share how we did this kind of in a no-nonsense kind of way and sharing information. Because we had a lot of people, and I firmly believe that you can't do it all with automation. I firmly believe you can't just do it all with adjusting controls, that they're the best way when a classroom of kids walk out of the room to save energy is to reach over and turn the light switch off and not wait 5 minutes for the occupancy sensor to do that. I believe that. And so we had a very integrated program throughout all of our school system, which was called Energy Watch. And it was a after-hours curricula, but it was also used, there was a curricula that went along with the teaching pattern that taught kids about energy. And I think we had a much bigger savings than what I really wanted to talk about today was how we added 1.5 million square feet over 2 years without increasing energy spend $1. And so, but I think that the savings was much bigger because the kids were taking this message home. And we used this kind of a thing to demonstrate it. So I got several of these, and afterwards we're going to break these over some people's heads. They thought I was going to do some karate chopping here. But Steve put a slide up there a little bit ago, and we didn't plan this, Steve, but about the custodial staff. A custodial staff understands a floor tile. They look at this and they say, this is a floor tile. They may not realize that it's a square foot, but what I did was I represented it to them that for every floor tile that you clean every night, I'm spending $1.40 to light it, to heat it, to cool it. And if there's a penny on that floor out there, If there's one penny on that floor tile out there, would you bend over and pick it up? Probably not. What you didn't know today was you were all tested. No one bent over and picked the penny up. I heard this week, I laid a penny out in the foyer earlier today, and nobody noticed it. Nobody's bent over to pick it up. And I think there's pennies laying all over the place in the energy space for somebody just to bend over and pick up, put it in their pocket, and become richer. I just heard this wild statistic just this week. A penny is now, it costs 1.6 cents to make a penny, and it's costing us, our government, it's costing us $55 million a year extra to make pennies out of the value of that. And so I said to him, I said, what if you come in tonight and there's one penny on the floor, will you bend over and pick it up? Maybe, maybe not. And we're the folks that are concerned about energy here today, and we didn't even notice the penny. Actually, I put a really grubby, ugly-looking penny down. I didn't put a shiny new one because, you know, maybe you'll bend over and pick it up if it looks like it's kind of clean and okay. But if it looks like it's been run over by the car a few times, even the value's no different, you just let it there and you walk on. I said, but what if there's a penny on every floor tile? Will you bend over and pick them up? I said, I bet you if there was a penny on every floor tile tonight, it would be the cleanest school that we've had in a long time. I said, but what I really need is I need you to pick up 14 cents off of every floor tile to save me 10% of my energy costs because I've got 1.5 million square feet of facilities coming along. I need your help. I need your help, and here's how you can do it. And get them to buy in, to understand that when they're mopping the floor at night and they're leaving that they're not just going out of a classroom and not turning the lights off. That they have some ownership in it. And then I went to the administration and I said, you know, I think we fail often about not telling the story and telling it the story in the language that the person understands. A custodian understands a square foot and a floor tile, right? Because they see it every day. They're waxing it, they're sweeping it, they're mopping it. They understand it. And a teacher does too. But how do we measure energy? What do we measure energy in? Most of us that are in the energy space. We do it in kBTUs, right? Outside of this room, does anybody care about that really? Do they really care? What do they care about? What's the finance office care about? He cares or she cares about this stuff right there, right? That's what they want to know. And yes, that can control that, or vice versa. But the audience that you're talking to, it's really important to understand what they get and the message that you want them to get. So you have to understand who you're talking to in delivering this message. And that's why I think so many times we miss the mark in what we're doing with these folks. Maybe this won't come off like I hope. Tim Butt cheap tiles. But we've got enough of them. So we'll do this. So I talked to the principals about students. They understand students, right? They have Johnny and Mary in the classroom. And they know that for every student, it was costing them, I told them it cost them $287 per student for heating and lighting, air conditioning, water, and so forth. They related to that. But you know what really resonated with them? When I told them that I went and found out, that should be a 4, that their allotment for textbooks was $64 per student. And I said, imagine if you save 10% on this number right here. What impact does it have here? In the school system, we're in the business of educating kids. And so often, as energy managers or people working with clients in their space, we lose track of what they're trying, really what they're doing. How many passengers per flight? How much does it cost? How much does it cost get somebody better in a hospital and get them out of there? What is the contribution of energy towards that? And hospitals are working on a very low margin, and anytime you can take, where does energy budget come from? If you can save $1 on energy in healthcare, where does it go to? It goes to the bottom line, doesn't it? And makes that better. And so you have to understand and communicate in a way that your customer understands. So we took, so let me give you a visualization. When I said that I managed 22 million square feet of property, can you really understand that? Can you really get your head around how big that is? So let me give you an example of 22 million square feet for you folks. This tile is 12 by 12, so it's 1 square foot, and it's 1/4 inch thick. To take 22 million of these tiles and cover a football field, how tall do you think the stack would be when we got done? Steve's over there trying to run it in his head here real quick. Let me make it easy for you, Steve. Including the end zones. Including the end zones. Almost 8 feet tall. The entire football field, including the end zones, 8 feet tall, is 22 million square feet. That's still a little bit hard to imagine. And so what we did was we broke it down on things that people could understand. And so we said to the principals, imagine for a moment, most of us can understand what a 2,000 square foot home is, right? A lot of us live in about that size home. So we know what a 2,000 square foot home is. And then at night, you're asking one custodian to clean 9 of those homes. And they're already starting to think, wow, there's only 3 of us in our home, and it takes me almost all day Saturday to clean the house, and you're asking one custodian to do 9 of them every night, and you want it as clean as my house was when I got done. And so we managed through that kind of detail. And so I share some of these stories with you because we took, what do they say you're supposed to save when you adjust a thermostat by 1 degree? How much? 2 to 3%. Off of what? Everything. Everything, or just HVAC? HVAC. Because I had a large budget and very vulnerable, everybody was always coming to tell me how they could save me 15 or 20% on my energy spend. And all of them had some different widget to do it with. And finally I said, if I put all of you together, and none of it was renewable energy, but if I put all of it together, you'd be paying me to take your stuff because I'd be saving so much energy. But we put that in practice, and I knew that we had to do some things differently. And I venture to say that if you're a building owner in here, or a facility manager, or an energy engineer, or you consult with people on a regular basis in that space, that if you go to most of these sites, that you'll go in there and there'll be some kind of building automation system there. We're a little cool here. I said, I can adjust it, but do you know what impact that's going to have on your staff of losing a TA? And when you talk to them in terms that they understand, they could care less about whether it moved the KBTU points 1 or 2 points up or down. That was meaningless to them. But in sharing the language that you share with your users, that's really where you get to really a lot of savings. We had a drought in Raleigh about 7 years ago. And it happened that the mayor had put out a statement that he was really asking people to be at a certain gallons, that every individual should use no more than a certain number of gallons. And I can't remember exactly what the number was on a daily basis. I took our energy data and our utility data, and I looked at it, and I multiplied it across the number of kids we had, and I had to do a presentation to the school board, and so happened that his wife was a school board member. So I wanted to send a message to the mayor that what a good job we were doing. And so we were like 10% of that number that they said that we ought to use on a daily basis. So they had at least 90% to use at home to take a shower and so forth. And so I made that presentation in the board meeting. And after the board meeting, the mayor's wife came up to me and she says, "Can I have a copy of your presentation?" She says, "I want to have a discussion with my husband at the table tonight." And I thought, that's just exactly what I wanted to happen. But you present it to the listener's ear in a way that they really understand and get what it is, and you can accomplish a lot more. Does that make sense? Really understand, because we so often talk in terms that our listener doesn't understand in. It doesn't set them on fire. I had a very strong belief as we were walking through, and this may offend some of you, you may agree with me or what, but the terms have changed over the last few years. It used to be global warming, and now it's climate change. And even when you say that, when you're out in a public setting in a number of spaces, you'll see kind of the hairs go back up or the smiles come. There's a division there. And I went at it from a perspective is I don't want any division when it comes to saving energy. And so what I went at it as is I want to do resource conservation. Everybody can buy into that. Every taxpayer can say, I want to save money. I want to reduce it. And what do you get in the end? You get the same thing, right? You get the same results out of both of them. And so as I presented it to them, as I spoke around, that's the kind of the presentation that I would speak in. So I didn't alienate half of my audience. I knew my belief about it, but it really wasn't relevant to my belief when it comes to how do I want to accomplish everything that I need to accomplish in saving that money and bringing 1.5 million square feet of additional buildings on and not having any more money. But so that's just a little bit about how we did it. We looked at the stuff that we already had in place. We didn't add any new hardware, any new software. We used great data to manage to. We did optimize and really use our building automation system to do that. We had a lot of student engagement, a lot of teacher engagement, a lot of custodial engagement. And when you talk to people and you ask them to help you with something and you treat them with respect and how important their role is in accomplishing that, they will own it. They will take it and they will help you accomplish your goal. I believe I have a very strong belief in our custodial staffs in our buildings in America today, and I believe that they are very underappreciated and underevaluated. And I just think that the appreciation, and when you go in and talk to them and you tell them that you understand what a difficult job they have and that you appreciate what they do, and can you help me with this thing? And here's why I want you to help me with it, because this is going to mean we're not going to have to lay off any custodians. And so I just thank you for allowing me just to share my experience, bringing it down to the, we had the think tank this morning, and I wanted to bring it kind of down to the do tank. And hopefully you gained something out of it, a little nugget that might help you in presenting your stuff and helping your clients present it. Because I think every time that you go out and try to get a client to sell something in their organization, a lot of times they don't know how to do that. They need help to do that. And I talk all the time to our sales folks at Facility Dude. Help the person that you're selling sell it to their management team.